nearly $160,000 stolen.
It's a lot of money. It took me 12 years to get that money, and that was my life savings.
And look, I know exactly how this starts. It starts on a Tuesday. You're walking back from the mailbox, flipping through the usual stack of recycling, coupon, political flyer, coupon, and then you stop because there's an envelope that feels heavy. It's got the window. It's got the official logo of your bank. Let's say Wells Fargo or Chase, or maybe even a federal seal like the FDIC. And the text in the window doesn't say you're pre-approved. It says final notice or account frozen. Or the absolute terrifying gold standard of 2026 anxiety, cease and desist, regulatory compliance action. Your heart does that little gymnastics routine where it tries to exit through your throat. You tear it open, the letterhead is crisp, the font is serious, it cites Federal Code 12, section something something. It says there has been suspicious activity detected in your retirement account. It says you have 48 hours to scan a QR code or call the number in bold red text to verify your identity, or your assets will be seized by the state.
Fake QR codes can also take you to sites that automatically download malware onto your devices.
And your instinct, your responsible homeowner, good citizen instinct, is to grab your phone and fix it immediately. Do not do that. I need you to listen to me very carefully right now. If you receive a letter like this in 2026, even if it has your full name, your address, and looks more official than a wedding invitation from the Pope, do not respond. Do not call the number. Do not scan the code. Do not write back. Because that letter you're holding, it is quite possibly the single most sophisticated, dangerous, and expensive trap currently sitting on your kitchen counter. And the lawyer's advice, the advice that feels completely insane when you're staring at a threat to freeze your bank account, is to treat that letter like it's radioactive. Why? Because you are being hunted. And in 2026, the hunters have upgraded from spears to laser-guided missiles. Welcome to the year of the paper trail phantom. And if you think I'm being dramatic, just wait until you see the receipts I brought today, because what's happening in your mailbox isn't just a scam, it's an industry. Here's the reality of the situation. For the last 20 years, we've been trained to spot scams by looking for the dumb mistakes. You know the ones, emails that start with "Dear beloved customer," sent from an address like admin@hotmail.trustme.com, filled with spelling errors that look like a cat walked across a keyboard. We laughed at them. We felt superior. We thought, I'm too smart to fall for that. Well, the scammers heard you laughing, and they took it personally. In late 2025, everything changed. The FBI released a report, and we're gonna put the numbers on the screen here because they are nauseating, showing that account takeover complaints skyrocketed. We're talking about over 5,100 complaints in just a few months. We're talking about losses exceeding $262 million. And the terrifying part isn't the money, it's how they did it. They didn't hack the bank's mainframe like in a Mission Impossible movie. They didn't rappel down the elevator shaft of the Federal Reserve. They just mailed you a letter. They used a new generation of AI tools specifically designed for fraud to clone the writing style, the formatting, the logos, and the legal jargon of major US banks and federal agencies. These aren't phishing attempts anymore. These are sniper shots. They are using public data, your home title records, which are public, remember? To put your actual name and property details in the letter. Then they use AI to write a terrifyingly accurate legal threat about compliance violations or suspicious wire transfers. And here's the conspiracy. They know you don't trust email anymore. They know you delete text messages from strangers. But physical mail, a letter on heavy bond paper with a watermark, that bypasses your skepticism filter and goes straight to your, oh no, I'm in trouble center. They are counting on you being a responsible person. They are weaponizing your own due diligence against you. And the moment you call that number on the letterhead, the trap snaps shut. And trust me, what happens next makes a root canal look like a spa day. Let's look at the financials because you need to understand the scale of this. This isn't some kid in a basement trying to steal $20 to buy Fortnite skins. This is organized crime operating with the efficiency of a Fortune 500 company. According to the Federal Trade Commission's 2025 data, impersonation scams are now the #1 fraud category in America. Specifically, business and government impersonation caused $3 billion in losses in 2024. That is more than the GDP of entire island nations. And the FBI's November 2025 alert specifically flagged cease and desist letters as a growing vector. Let me know below if you've received one of these letters in the last 6 months. But here is how the pressure cooker works. You open the letter, It says it's from the FDIC or the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. By the way, if you don't know what the OCC is, don't worry, neither do most, which is exactly why scammers use it. It sounds terrifying and boring at the same time, which is the sweet spot for legal panic. The letter claims your account is flagged for money laundering or terrorism financing due to a clerical error. It says, pursuant to Federal Regulation D, you must verify your identity within 24 hours or your assets will be seized. Now look at that sentence. It uses the word pursuant. It cites a regulation. It gives you a deadline. It triggers a biological fear response. And here's the thing, the receipts on why this works so well. According to Catchmark Technologies and the ITRC security report from January 2026, yep, this year, AI tools allow these criminals to clone bank letterhead down to the pixel. They can generate unique reference numbers for every single letter. So if you and your neighbor both get scammed, your letters look different. They have different case numbers. They look like individual legal files. This makes it incredibly hard for police to spot a pattern until it's too late. You call the number, a polite professional voice answers. They don't sound like a scammer, they sound like Brenda in compliance. Brenda calms you down. Brenda says, oh, I see the error here. We just need to verify your login credentials to lift the hold. Or, and this is the new one for 2026, we need you to move your funds to a temporary federal safety locker while we investigate. That safety locker, it's a crypto wallet in Belarus. And once you send that money, it is gone. It is gone faster than a toupee in a hurricane. But it gets worse. And you knew I was going to say that, didn't you? Because the infrastructure behind this isn't just about stealing your money today. It's about stealing your identity forever. And so we have to talk about the data trap. I mean, let's say you're smart. You got the letter. You call the number, but you hesitate. You say, I don't want to give you my password. The scammer says, no problem, sir. We completely understand. Just to confirm we have the right file, can you verify the last 4 digits of your social security number and your mother's maiden name? You think, okay, well, that's harmless. They already have my address. Wrong. That was the goal all along. They are building a dossier on you. They are playing a game of identity Tetris. They have your address from public records. They have your phone number from a data breach 3 years ago. Now, thanks to the letter, they have your mother's maiden name and your social security fragment. They take that puzzle piece, they go to the real bank website, and they use the forgot password feature. They answer the security questions using the info you just gave them. They reset your password. They lock you out of your own account. And then they drain it. And here's the piece of evidence that should make your blood run cold. Mimecast threat research found that in 2025, AI-powered fraud campaigns began inserting fake physical mail into the mix specifically to legitimize digital scams, meaning they send you an email on Monday, you delete it. They send you a text on Tuesday, you ignore it. They send you a physical letter on Thursday referencing the email and the text. Your brain goes, oh wow, they mailed me a letter about this. It must be real. It creates a cross-channel validation loop. It is psychological warfare. And the only way to win is to be the most stubborn, unresponsive, cynical person on the block. Now, I can hear you through the screen. You're sitting there thinking, okay, but what if it's real? What if the IRS really is trying to find me? What if my bank really did freeze my account? Am I supposed to just ignore a federal subpoena and go to jail? You're not crazy for asking that. In fact, that fear is exactly what makes you a good citizen. You want to follow the rules. You want to protect your home. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy with a Wi-Fi connection and a healthy fear of the fine print. So here is the validation I found that you need to sleep at night. Real banks do not work like this. The FDIC, the OCC, and the Federal Reserve have all issued explicit policies stating, and I am quoting the FDIC directly here, the FDIC would never contact you asking for personal details, such as bank account information, credit and debit card numbers, or passwords. Real regulatory letters go to the bank's legal department, not to your house. If the government wants to seize your assets, they don't send a letter asking you to call a 1-800 number and chat with Brenda. They send a guy with a badge to knock on your door. Or they serve your bank a court order. You are not being negligent by ignoring the letter. You are being competent. You are refusing to play a game that is rigged against you. So, here we are. You're standing in your kitchen. You're holding a letter that looks like it was signed by the ghost of Alexander Hamilton himself, threatening to foreclose on your life. What do? I want you now to channel your inner Jason Bourne. You know that scene where Bourne wakes up, doesn't know who he is, but knows exactly how to handle a threat. Well, that is you now. You are calm. You are dangerous. You are untouchable. Here is your action plan. Step 1. the magical trash can maneuver. If the letter asks you to call a specific number, scan a QR code, or go to a website printed on the paper, do not do it. Do not even type the URL into your browser to check it out. Some of these sites are designed to download malware onto your computer the second the page loads. Take the letter, look at it, respect the artistry, and then throw it in the trash. Actually, shred it, because it has your name on it. Step 2, the source of truth verification. Now, the anxiety is still there. You need to know if your account is safe. Do not use the contact information on the letter. That is the trap. Go to your wallet, pull out your debit or your credit card, turn it over, and on the back, in tiny, hard-to-read print, is a phone number. That is the only phone number that exists. Call that number. When you get a human or a robot that eventually yields you to a human, say this exact phrase: I received a suspicious letter claiming there is an issue with my account. I want to verify if there are any actual holds or alerts on my file. 99.9% of the time, the agent will say, I see no notes on your account. That is a scam. And just like that, the monster, it vanishes. Step 3, the digital drawbridge. If you haven't done this yet, you are living dangerously. Go to all 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and freeze your credit. It's free. It takes 10 minutes. It puts a steel gate around your identity. Even if the scammers have your social security number, they can't open new lines of credit in your name if the file is frozen. You can unfreeze it instantly if you need to buy a car or refinance or get a new credit card, but the rest of the time, keep that bridge pulled up. Step 4, the notification tripwire. Log into your actual bank app. Go to settings. Turn on real-time transaction alerts. Set it so that every time a nickel leaves your account, your phone buzzes. This way, you don't need a letter to tell you if there's suspicious activity. You will know before the receipt even prints. You are removing the element of surprise. You are taking the power back from the mailbox and putting it in your pocket. Look, the world is getting weirder. The technology available to criminals is getting faster, smarter, and more convincing. We are moving into an era where you cannot trust the logo on the letterhead. And that sounds bleak, but it's actually empowering, because once you know that that letter is a lie, once you know that you hold the keys to the castle, you stop being a victim. You start treating your financial life like what it is, a fortress. You are the type of person who doesn't get rattled by a piece of paper. You are the type of person who verifies. You are the type of person who shreds scam letters with a satisfying grin on your face. But let's be honest for a second. Sometimes the letter isn't fake. Sometimes the bully isn't a scammer in a basement in Belarus. Sometimes the bully is your HOA board member with a clipboard, or a shady contractor who did half the job but sent a full invoice, or a debt collector trying to pin an old bill on you that isn't yours. You can't just shred those. Ignoring them doesn't work. Arguing with them on the phone? That is a waste of your life. The only thing that stops a paper bully is a bigger, scarier piece of paper signed by a lawyer. And you don't need to be rich to have that kind of firepower. You just need to be smart. And so I actually broke down a strategy on how to get an entire law firm on retainer to act as a legal force field around your house for less than the cost of a cable bill. And I explain exactly how to set that up in this video right here. It completely changes the dynamic when you stop fighting your own battles and let a professional pit bull off the leash to do it for you. Suddenly, the mail isn't scary anymore, because you know you have the nuclear option sitting in your back pocket ready to launch. I'll see you over there.